But to go ahead and get started, my name is Hallie, and I'm going to be hosting this webinar for you today. I am a part of the Reviewr team. I work as a part of our customer success team. So I work every day with our clients, kind of getting them onboarded into Reviewr, helping them get their events going. Kind of from the time they're onboarded into Reviewr, their submission process, evaluation process until the end, I'm with them every step of the way. And so I kind of see their frustrations coming from past platforms, past processes, kind of understand what they're looking for in Reviewr and what they're needing out of their awards program. And then I just kind of have the inside perspective of understanding how they're feeling and kind of what we need to do to better their experience. With that being said, a Reviewr is a software application management system. And so basically what that does is anything where you're running any kind of application process, whether it's awards, scholarships, grants, call for entries, call for abstracts, call for fellowships, whatever that might be, we can want to run it through Reviewr. We're always kind of running new different kinds of events, new different prospects, that kind of thing. So pretty much just as we're going through, understand the Reviewrs, anything that you can run applications through. Before we get started, I just wanted to note that the chat is open. So if you guys have any questions as I'm going through anything, whether it's program specific, maybe about the specific item I'm speaking on, go ahead and drop questions in the chat. We can be active, interactive here. Let me know if you guys have any specific questions, but otherwise we'll go ahead and get started. So today's webinar, I'm going to be focusing on 3 mistakes that are sabotaging your member engagement in your awards program. So just kind of looking at kind of the 3 big things that we see a lot in Reviewr from past processes, past programs that are really killing your awards program. I'm going to talk a lot about how we want to grow our numbers. That's how we grow your program overall in all aspects. So I'm going to kind of touch back on that a lot today. But just know that the way that we want to grow our programs and engage more people is going to be by increasing our numbers. And so anything we can do to kind of increase that is what we're going to be looking for. So just speaking a little bit on Reviewr and really just your ideal software where you are going to be running your applications. First thing is that you are going to want management for your awards from end to end. So not just during part of the process, but from start to finish. Starting meaning your nominations, your dual nominator-nominee workflow, your judging, your actual selection, your member choice voting, your judging, everything as you kind of are going through that entire process. You want it all to be in one place, all to be connected, and just kind of all to be overall a good experience for everyone involved, not just for you, not just for the applicants, not just for the judges. Everyone's kind of working together here. Second thing is fair and structured judging. This is a really big one. One of the biggest parts of these award cycles are deciding who actually gets those awards, right? And so making sure that A, our judging process is fair, and B, aside from it being fair, we need to have some kind of structure. We need to have a scorecard. We need to have kind of everyone on the same page of how we're scoring things, how things should be done. Overall, making that judging process as simple and as fair as possible to better the experience for your applicants, better the chance of them getting in there. Third thing is going to be built for association teams. So this is going to be designed for the people who are actually running your program. So all of you, not just kind of from year to year throwing things together, not working to improve your awards program. We want to build on that. We want to grow. Membership-wide engagement is the last thing. This is something we see a lot of where it's just kind of the same few people getting your awards every year, the same few people applying, and really not a lot of involvement throughout your membership base, whether that's organizational, membership, community, however you kind of look at that. Right now, we're seeing a pretty secluded group of people apply to the awards program. So we really want to push to get more people involved. Again, the more people involved, the more our numbers are growing and the better your reward system gets. So just kind of hopping into the webinar. So you're in the right place. You're learning about the right material today. If you are a professional association, you're running professional recognition awards, honors, anything along those lines. You are in a trade or industry group where you're honoring your standout members or companies, anyone that might be a part of your group throughout the industry. Alumni and alumni organizations. So recognizing distinguished alumni, year-round engagement, not just the one-time alumni reunion event where you see Sally and Joe for 3 hours of your year and then you forget until next year. Remembering who our alumni are, remembering why we're recognizing them, and kind of keeping that going from year to year. Awards administrator. So maybe you're not a part of any of those things, but you're running just kind of a plain Jane award group, but it's not going as smoothly as it should be. You should be having more people apply. You should be having a better outcome. If you're just kind of one of those people, great place to be. If you're looking for better tools overall, you're looking for a better experience across all of your awards platforms, how you're working it, looking for something better, more efficient. And then if you're looking to grow your program, again, kind of hitting home with this, growing your program improves it for everyone involved. So really working towards that. And then kind of the last thing, so obviously all of you are running some kind of award program right now. A lot of you probably aren't paying for anything a part of this award program. You have your donors, you have it's just kind of your volunteer time, maybe in addition to your job, maybe something you're picking up after hours. No matter what, though, even if it seems like it's a cost-free event that you're running, the amount of time that you're putting into it is costly. If your membership is not growing from it, it's a waste of your time and the membership's time, which is costly. And then outside of that, your judges, your volunteers, whoever in a part of this award cycle is coming in and volunteering their time, that's costly to them too. So while it might not seem like you have one big upfront cost of paying for something, a lot of those little costs between each individual that's involved with your awards program, those add up quite a bit. Perfect. And then kind of hopping right into the three things that we're going to talk about are nomination friction, your engagement beyond the committee, and then judge fatigue. So to kind of just jump a little bit into all of those, excuse me, nomination friction. So a lot of you are having kind of that broken boundary between your nominator and nominee workflow. Not a good process, frustrating for those involved. Not only for the submitters because it's not clear how they can do it, but then also for you as an admin having to track down all the nominations, match them up with their nominees, everything kind of along those lines. Second thing is no engagement beyond the committee. Okay, again, we're having your award ceremony once a year. You're running your award cycle for 3 months out of the year, and then for the rest of the year, you're just done. You forget about it. Let's get more people involved. Let's keep kind of the workplace buzz, the organization buzz around the event. Have it be something that people are looking forward to each year, not forgetting about. And then judge fatigue. So your poor assignments, your scoring processes are outdated. They're not working very well. And it's causing frustration and fatigue from your judges, who again are more than likely volunteers coming into this awards program. So making sure, again, improving the cycle for everyone involved. All right. First thing that we're going to dive into is the nomination friction. So your broken nominator and nominee workflow. Kind of what we are seeing a lot of, and I'm going to hop to this next slide, is that your nominators are having to fill out a lot of information for the nominees that maybe they don't know. A lot of awards are going to be asking about how many sales, how much revenue in sales do you have? What are your ratios of sales to whatever that might be? A lot of information that you might know that this nominee is excelling in, and you know that they're doing really well, but you don't have those exact numbers. And then what comes with that is that then you have to reach out to the nominee. You then let them know that they're getting nominated, and it kind of ruins the excitement of all that. Second thing is self-nominations feel uncomfortable. There are going to be some candidates in all of your awards events that know that they're deserving and that they fit this award really well, but no one really likes to nominate themselves. So putting themselves into a situation where maybe they can nominate themselves and it's anonymous and it's not as kind of out there, really important. Overall, for both the nominator and nominee, if you have a really long, not intuitive, complex form, that's going to create friction, it's going to cause frustration, and that's going to decline your numbers. As soon as one person says, this was not a good experience, I was frustrated, it wasn't clear what I was supposed to do, and that spreads around your workplace, your organization, your member base, that instantly is going to decline your numbers, which is really not a great experience. Again, trying to push those numbers up. Outside of that, a lot of the nomination events that we're seeing it's heavy on the nomination and not the actual nominee process, which again causes a problem because the nominator obviously does not know as much about the nominee as the nominee themselves. And so then the nominee also doesn't have that opportunity to kind of brag on themselves. You know, they know the parts of their story that are going to make them look the best and are going to help them be most applicable to this award. And so making sure that we give them that opportunity. And then kind of the last problem, but something that I see a lot, especially with our awards programs that are coming into Reviewr, is that you have the same 5 people applying for your award every single year. You don't really have any outside people coming in. The same 3 people are getting it every year, which just causes frustration. Not a great process. So kind of what we're looking for with this dual nominator nominee workflow, which I'll show you in just a minute, is that your nominators are going to have a really quick and easy process. They're going to log in, they're going to submit their nomination, really few basic information about that nominee. And then they're going to be able to kind of move on with their day. They submitted it, it was easy, and that nominee is actually going to then log in and do the rest themselves. They're going to fill out the information so that they know it's correct. They're going to get that exciting email saying, congratulations, you've been nominated, and not this little sly kind of trying to beat around the bush to fill out this nominee's information. They also get the opportunity to brag on themselves, focus on the things that really are going to put them above other applicants. And then nominees can also upload supporting materials, again, just kind of supporting their case. And then with all of that, you're going to see a 30 to 35 increase, 30 to 35%, excuse me, increase in nominations. And the quality of the submissions are going to just automatically be better because you're actually letting your nominees kind of do most of the work. Accurate information, correct information, and information that most applies to this award that you're having. All right, and then with that, I'm going to show you what that process looks like. This is a kind of little walkthrough that we'll go through from a real customer of Reviewr. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what this process looks like. Typically, our clients either post or all of the above post their links to their microsite on their social media, their website, emails. However, you're going to get the most volume, the most traffic to your microsite is where you're going to want to put that. One more kind of cool thing about this is that a lot of you are probably running these award events from year to year. It's not just kind of a one and done thing. And again, kind of going back to that point of where you're going to have the same applicants from year to year. Once you create an account in Reviewr, that account sticks. You can log in and submit to submissions. Everything is going to be in one place. You'll be able to have visibility of all your submissions, see where they're at, that kind of thing, which is really helpful. And then just kind of an ideal nominator-nominee workflow. They can select if they're nominating themselves or someone else, enter their information, and then invite that nominee by clicking submit. So a super easy process. Some nominations have a little bit more information. Why are you nominating? Just a little bit more. This is great too. Sometimes the nomination in itself is enough, which is great. Click submit. So then that nominee is going to see this email coming through their inbox. Congratulations, you've been nominated for this award. They click a link, and then they have access to come in and fill out their entire form. So they created an account too, and now they're able to just kind of get that in-depth application through, answer everything to the best of their ability correctly, and then just kind of go through and experience that side of things. Again, just a better overall process because we can really put a lot more of the information, the hard-hitting stuff, where it's going to be answered properly. Attachments are another thing that's really important. For those of you who are maybe still using PDF, Google Forms, emails to collect your submissions, it's really not a secure way at all to A, collect any kind of private personal information, but B, any attachments. It kind of depends what kind of award you're running, but if there's any secure files that are uploaded, it's really important that you have them in a place that's safe and not possible to kind of be compromised. Yeah, so that's kind of what that nominator-nominee workflow looks like. They'll click submit, and then they'll be able to go apply for next year's event, anything like that. Perfect. Moving right along, we will go to the mistake number 2, which is your engagement. So we are not seeing any engagement outside your actual committee. Something that we have at Reviewr is called a showcase, where we allow member choice voting, which is a really great way to get more people throughout your organization involved, but then also your community as well. So kind of what we will focus on today are some of the gaps that we're seeing in our engagement. And this is really hitting hard on the boosting our numbers side of this webinar. Um, First thing is going to be only your nominees and small judging committee are truly engaged in the program. Your nominators don't have a big part, which is good. That's what we want to work towards. But outside of the few nominators, your nominees and the judging, that's kind of it, which isn't a great process. You obviously aren't going to have everyone be nominated. You're not going to have everyone submit a nomination. That's not realistic, and we understand that. But what we do want to work towards is getting more of your membership involved in a way that works for them. So that might be the voting program, the member voting, community also. If you're running an awards program in a business and organization within your community, get the community involved. Second thing is that the people outside of your small group of people who are being nominated, they don't.
Coco, why do you look so happy today?
I think it's my work day.
Locations are now open in your neighborhood.
Sorry,
So,
guys.
put your taxes to an expert today.
From home, I'd be alone, so
Sorry about that. No mechanism to educate members about peer achievement. So just kind of lack of visibility across all members who are maybe not directly involved. And then after the fact, after your awards program, you have your 5 people who submit every year religiously. Then after your awards ceremony, that again, you probably are going to have more than just the nominated and judges at this ceremony. But after those 3 hours of kind of going over, congratulating everyone, it goes dark. You don't talk about it, hear about it for the rest of the year. And so then with that, your members who are maybe not directly involved, again, they're going to feel like they're outside of the process. They're kind of out of the loop. They're just spectators. They have nothing to do with it. And once you kind of get that bad taste in your mouth and you feel like that's where you're at in the awards process, that's not going to encourage them to apply or nominate next year. So kind of moving on to the flip side of that, I know I talked a little bit about the member voting, but what we can do is we can actually do member choice voting, community voting. We can invite other people into the system where they can actually come in and kind of have more of a say on the awards. Who's going to win this? You can even go as far as making an award specific to how your members vote, who the member choice award, for example. Outside of that, you can showcase all of your nominees. Again, not everyone is going to be able to win. That's just a part of life. But it is important to kind of acknowledge that being nominated is an achievement in and of itself. So showcasing everyone that was nominated, and kind of letting them be out there for everyone to see, highlight parts of their submission that really deserve to be highlighted. A great way to make the nominees feel like they still were a part of something and still achieved something. So that maybe next year they'll nominate someone or they can be nominated again and maybe get that award. Just kind of making everyone feel involved and feel like their application submission, their involvement is worthy. Outside of that, within your actual member choice, it's going to drive website traffic. So maybe this isn't going to directly affect your awards process in general, but if you have an organization in a community, do a community choice voting, something along those lines where people can come in and see everything, that traffic is going to maybe, again, not directly affect your awards program, but help your organization overall. Getting more traffic, more people kind of involved in visibility is a really great way to boost every part of your organization. Again, outside of that, if you do have that member choice voting, people who go in and vote and see that opportunity, say this year, they're going to be that much more comfortable and encouraged to go in next year and actually nominate someone. And then last thing is that your expert committee for scoring and member voting combined, that's going to help prove that you have the most credible and community-backed results. Everyone's going to be kind of in agreement on who those winners are. Moving on, I'm going to show you what that public showcase looks like. And so this is a link that you'll share out. Again, this can be shared on your website, your social media, however you can best reach people. This is going to be shared out and people are going to be able to come in and see just kind of a gallery of the submitters that you are showcasing. Showcasing all nominees is a really great option, maybe towards the end of your judging period if you want to show just your finalists. Kind of a lot of opportunities and ways that you can work around how you want to show this. But if we click into one of these specific profiles, we can see a snapshot of their submission that you choose to kind of display. And then you also have that opportunity to actually vote. You can either do a, oops, sorry about that. Wrong click. You can either do a 1 through 5, 1 through 10 voting, a thumbs up, thumbs down, kind of an opportunity to pick and choose how you want that to go. But this is a really great way to get your community involved, get other members involved, and then again, showcase those nominees because being nominated is an achievement in itself. Perfect. And then that's what I just showed you. Perfect. So mistake number 3 is going to be judge fatigue from poor assignment and scoring processes. Okay. Perfect. So some of the problems that we're seeing with your judge fatigue, any a part of your judging process, maybe not necessarily just the judge fatigue, but judge frustration, anything kind of along those lines. While judges might not be getting paid, again, they're volunteering their time. And so if we can't get those volunteers to come back and we can't get them to spread good word of mouth about your program, spread good things, that's a problem. Some of the things that we are seeing are that your nominations are being distributed manually. And so you might have, when you do a manual process like that, there's really no way to kind of double check other than yourself or a teammate that things are being assigned fairly. So you might have some judges end up with 30 assignments where some only have 3. With that kind of causes an issue because that judge with the 30 assignments is not going to be putting out as quality as fair judging and evaluation results as those with maybe only 3. Second thing is no blind review, especially in awards programs where more than likely you are going to know who these nominees are or applicants are. It's really important that we can redact important identifying data. So first name, last name, address, phone number, anything where you can kind of recognize who that applicant is, we're going to want to hide. Again, just trying to make the most fair review process as possible. Judges downloading files, switching between browsers, tools, really inconvenient process. A lot of our judges who are coming in who have really great things to say about Reviewr is that it's extremely frustrating having to open 10 different tabs, 4 files, all for one submission. And then once you're done, you have to do that 10 more times for your next 10 assignments, which is completely understandable. That's a super frustrating process. And that's not going to drive your volunteers or judges to come back and do it again. If you don't give them a good process, it's not going to have a very good review on their part. Rubrics. This is a really big one. The first thing is that half the time our events coming into Reviewr first time, they don't even have a rubric. They just kind of assign submissions out, say pick your favorite one, and we'll go to the drawing board when we have our finalists. Which is really not a great process, A, because of bias, but B, because how do we know what we're scoring on? Which parts of this application are more important than the others? Just kind of having good visibility on that kind of thing. And then the second thing with that is once we do have a rubric in place, we need to make sure that we are weighting based on what is most important to the award, and then making sure that everyone can interpret it the same way. We're really trying to push away from the 1 through 10, 1 through 5 rating, because how do you really decipher a difference between a 5 and a 6? What's making that jump from a 5 to a 6? And with that, my interpretation of a 6 might be really different than Kyle's interpretation of a 6. And so making sure that we have it clear when we use words such as exceeds expectations, below average, meets expectations, things along those lines, there's a lot less gray area in that scoring department. And then the last thing is just that your good judges, they're going to burn out and they're not going to participate in the future. If we don't give them a good process, they are not going to continue to do it. So moving kind of to the flip side of that, of what Reviewr does to combat those really, really important issues, is that for you as a judge, you can manually assign, you can batch, you can automate assign. You have a lot of freedom on how you want to do it, to make it most fair for your applicants. You can set up redacted data. We can blind their names. We can blind any information in the form. There's a lot of flexibility there, which is really important. And then it kind of takes part of that burden off you of the chance of any bias. Split screen interface for the reviewers. That entire submission form is going to be on the left, an in view file viewer. And then your entire evaluation form is going to be on the right. Everything is in one tab, couple clicks, you can see everything. Really important. Structured rubrics with weighted criteria. You cannot run an evaluation process, any judging and Reviewr if you don't have a scorecard. And so a scorecard of any kind is required, but then we also kind of push and help you make a scorecard that's going to work best and give you the best results for your event. Real-time progress dashboards and automated reminders for judges who haven't submitted. So you as an admin have a real-time dashboard of where that evaluation process is at, where your judges are at. But then also your judges have that as well. They log in, they see how many submissions they have. They have really good visibility as well. And then last kind of thing to hit home is that 79% on average reduction in your judge workload. So they're going to enjoy that process. It's going to be fun for them to look through because it doesn't feel like they have to do another job on top of that judging process. Okay, so then just to kind of show you what this judging experience looks like, so you'll add them into the system, you'll invite them once you've made their evaluation assignments, they'll create an account as well, and then they will be taken to their judge portal. And so here they can see all of their submissions that they have been assigned to, they can see the progress of all of them, the scores that they scored them, really great visibility. You can see down here, this is an example of redacted data. If we are to redact information from judges, this will just be blank. It won't be blurred, so you won't have to worry about people still being able to see, even though it's just blurred out. It'll be completely gone. Clicking into the submissions, you can see over here, we have that entire submission form. Any files you can open up in here, or you can view in that attachments tab. Over here on the right, we have that actual evaluation scorecard. You can see the ratings that we have here, making sure, again, getting away from that 1 to 10 rating and using more emotional responses, and then also providing our judges with a definition of what these responses mean. So everyone really is on that same page. Another thing you can have your judges do and you also have access to are these notes and comment boxes. Comments can be shared with submitters if your judges have a question for a submitter, or they can be disabled. Notes and comments, they can all be utilized between you as an admin and your judges, just for really good communication. All right, so just to kind of recap, you guys can start typing any questions you might have in here as I kind of wrap things up. First mistake is going to be that nominee-nominator friction, not a great process. Let's make everything in one place. Let's give that nominee the opportunity to really brag on themselves and put correct information in and make that a better process for them. No engagement beyond the committee. Get more people involved outside of just your member organization. Get your community involved. Get people outside of the 5 that apply every year involved. Bring your numbers up. And then last thing is your judging fatigue. Really make sure that we create a really smooth and easy process for those judges so that they continue to volunteer their time and they continue to come back and be a part of your awards program.